We turn our attention now to the aviation sector. There's a lot going on there. We talk about the renovation of the airport, talk about the prices, of course, the usual disappointments. It wasn't exactly interesting times last week, particularly with the delays and what a lot of people experienced trying to fly across the country. But there's a matter that has been brewing since 2004. And till today, at least till the last time we checked, the matter has not been resolved. And it's about the state of workers in the defunct Nigerian Airways. We're joined on the program by aviation expert, Mr. Chris Aligbe. He's right there with us in our Lagos studio. Good morning, Mr. Aligbe. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, it's a good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Right. Wherever you turn, there's enough issues to go around. Before we get into the issues in the aviation sector itself, because I think this is one conversation Nigerians have a lot to say about. I want us to talk about the state of the pensioners of Nigerian Airways. Since 2004, there's been that clamor. The Buhari government came, did some work, paid some money, approved some monies, but it was less than half of what was being demanded, or at least what was meant to be paid. And after a lot of back and forth, the Tinubu government gave approval, right, for another 20+ billion, I believe. 30+ billion to be paid. But since 2025, it looks like nothing has been done. So give us an update where we're at right now, or with this fate of the pensioners, a lot of them bedridden, old, helpless.
Thank you very much. Yes, in actual sense, the issue of pensioners and for whatever Nigeria was started, people say 2004 because that's when the records about liquidation. The liquidation was approved 2003 during the valedictory fake meeting of 2003 when a memo was presented by the then Minister of Aviation for the liquidation of the airline. Okay, but the actual liquidation, it was approved 2003, but then all activities started. So but what happened is that we're going to the activities, but before then, even in 2001, about 1,000 staff, including top-rated pilots and whatever, were taken out in what they call restructuring. A committee that was said, the minister said, a Bokizawa committee, took out these excellent pilots. Then the tsunami came with the liquidation. When the liquidation came, all the staff, remaining 4,000+ staff, were taken out. But unfortunately for us, sadly, the then government, the president was under President Obasanjo, didn't approve any payment, not even terminal benefits. We had a protest, we had letters, we had everything. He didn't budge. He didn't approve any payment. Luckily, when President Yaradua of blessed memory came, he approved payment of 5%. That's the terminal benefit, not pension. The pension still stayed there. She didn't, you know, he didn't last long. But he was quite human and humane on this issue.
All right.
When Jonathan came, President Jonathan didn't care a hoot about it either. He did absolutely nothing.
Until President Buhari?
Yes, he did nothing.
No, I'm saying until the late President Buhari came.
Yes, until Buhari came. When Buhari came, Buhari was passionate about Nigeria Airways, what happened to staff, what happened to the airline. He approved payment. When he approved payment, the minister then, Hadi Sirika, put every effort, pushed it to the point where in finance is really where the incubus is always coming. At that time this happened, Kemi Adeosu was the finance minister. He didn't care one bit. In fact, there was so much humiliation and ignominy that the staff suffered because they were going to her office trying to. Luckily, I don't know, God took her out. When God took her out, then came Zainab Ahmed in finance ministry. Zainab Ahmed ensured that payment was made, but it was the civil servants, whatever there was an issue they call PICA, presidential whatever, they halved the money that we're going to pay.
How much did they pay eventually? What was agreed?
About 50. What was agreed was 70 billion plus. Right. Okay, they paid about half of it, and the other half remained. It wasn't paid. When this, you see, when Buhari came, we didn't have any big problem trying to protest because he was passionate about it. When President Tinubu came, again, President Tinubu didn't waste time. Okay, he approved the paper, he approved it, and when he approved it, you know, when he approves, he passes to finance. Finance will pass to aviation ministry. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Barrister Kayamo, has done everything humanly possible, ministerially possible, to make sure that this payment is made. And they passed the documentation. By August last year, he sent all the needed documentation to Ministry of Finance.
So you're saying it's still stuck at the Ministry of Finance?
Yeah, that's where the incubus is always there.
What have you heard from Minister Wale Edun?
Minister of Finance?
Yeah. Yes.
We've gone there. Many even union members who are pursuing it, AOGA, they have all gone there. There have been meetings, even some legislators. They've gone to the mayor. All that you say is been passed to, oh, it is not in the purview of Minister of Finance, it's the Minister of State for Finance. You get to that, they say, oh, it's with the Accountant General, he has gone to Accountant General. All stories that we are hearing, but nothing has happened. It's getting 8 months since these papers were passed. And I know that even the Minister of Aviation has met a series of time with the officials and even some legislators have met to try to push this. But the paper is stuck there. And the last thing we are hearing, okay, they are thinking they will pay, but they will pay in groups. They will have 3 groups. With intervals of 2 months. I say, who is going to do that? Who is going to pay people in groups? This thing has been approved by the president. Why are you going to decide to pay? And this is earned income. And every day our people are dying. The age bracket now for retirees is between 60, the oldest is 101. Mr. Kono. We have pilots, we have Captain Hayes. Is about 91 years old. That's the first African pilot that landed aircraft in US. These are people to be celebrated. But instead of celebrating them, you have kept back their dues because they earned it. It's not that we are asking for palliative or for anything. These are not that end. So I don't know why the political actors have done their best. The president approved it. The minister has done everything. It's now stuck in the Ministry of Finance. And every day, you go there, you ask them, well, and people are too weak now to go for protests. You can't find 90 years old people or 80-something. Most of them are in their 80s. Most of us are. The bracket is 60-some years to 101.
So let's walk back. We're talking severance package here?
Yes.
What else are we talking about?
No, it's pension. The severance package, you know, severance package, when you are
so I want to...
Yaradua paid.
So first, let's take it one by one. There's severance package.
Yes.
There's pension.
Yes.
Okay, what else? Those are the 2 major.
No, that are the 2 major things, yes. Severance package was paid by President Yaradua, blessed memory. Like I said, he didn't stay last long. He may have done the other, but like I said, after him, President Goodluck Jonathan did absolutely nothing with all his finance minister. He didn't approve anything. So the finance minister, 3 of them, didn't have anything to do. But President Buhari, blessed memory again, approved. And then the aviation minister pushed it to finance. At finance, it got stuck.
Okay, so then, you've taken us through that.
Yeah.
Help us understand the numbers of the entire aviation workers. And for the sums that have been paid, is it that they're paid in batches or the entire numbers access a certain percentage of the pension and they are waiting the remaining percentage? So help us understand how those who have benefited have benefited? Is it that some have received and then they have been settled, but there are still some outstanding numbers of ex-workers that are still waiting for a certain percentage?
No, nobody has been fully paid. Nobody. What was paid was 50%. Okay, even that 50%, there were some people say, oh, who waited for almost 1 year before they were open, but it's only 50% that was paid. What is still outstanding is for everybody. And like I say, at the time of liquidation, the number had come down by almost close to 5,000, 4,000 so. But before
5,000 ex-Nigerian Airways workers.
Yes, at the time of liquidation. But before the liquidation, prelude to it, 1,000 was taken out. In their usual, when they say restructuring, when you hear restructuring, it's a euphemism for cutting down staff. 1,000 plus staff, they were cut, they were taken out. So all those people joined. Together now we're talking about 6,000 staff that are still outstanding. About 600 of us, 600 of them have died.
Out of the 6,000? Out
of about 600 of them have died. And some of them are on wheelchairs, some of them are in the hospital.
So in case I missed a bit of what you were saying, these monies, so pension, as we understand, is supposed to be monthly payment, right?
Pension is supposed to be monthly payment, but the government now, they came to, those at the ministry, they want to pay it en bloc once. For us, so there won't be, yes. Some people still argued. There are some people who say, look, we're civil servants. We started as civil servants before ever.
And you were not absorbed into any other ministry?
No.
Did some go on to get engagements with other airlines? Between 2004 and now?
After they have, only a few, because many of the pilots, when they are pilots, they flew airplanes of bigger status like DC-10, whatever. There are those who flew 747. But when you come down, you find that all the planes you're having, that 737, whatever, how many can they absorb? We had 737 pilots. Some of them got jobs somewhere, but at that time, they were already aging. So as of today, none of them is flying. And that's the certain about it, because at some certain age, you can no longer fly.
So let's assume that we have slightly over 5,000 people who are still alive, who are supposed to benefit from this and bulk pension, which looks like it's no longer pension if it's no longer being paid monthly. So maybe there's another name we can call it. How much are we talking about here? Do you have an amount?
I say it's about 35 billion.
35 billion?
Billion, yes.
So what's your experience with the current leadership at the Ministry of Finance?
Is whatever I say, I think it will be a sad commentary, because I do not see why, after President has approved this, stay with them for about 8 months, has approved this, and then the paper is rigmaroling in the ministry. You go, you ask, they say it's here. You ask, sometimes they say they've not seen the paper, they've not seen the file. You let them know. The file is, this is when he came. The okay is with, is not in the purview of the Minister of Finance per se. Right. It is the Minister of State. And you go to the Minister of it is the Accountant General. Oh, so this is what has been associated. Like I say, Ministry of Finance has become an incubus. It happened every day. It happened under Kemi Adoshu. It's happening now. Well, and people are dying.
And that's why we had to spotlight this matter. They say that you can tell a lot about a nation or people from the way they treat children, women, and the elderly. So it's important that these issues are spotlighted and we put it out there. It's quite ironic, right? Because it looks like airports are now the most lucrative things, because every other state is trying to have their own airports and their own carrier. So if it's really lucrative, then let's ensure that the right things are done by those who have worked. But Mr. Chris Aligbe, we have to thank you so much. We really hope that this is resolved as soon as possible, wherever it is, whether it's the Ministry of Finance, the Accountant General, or wherever it is.
They are all in finance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate this opportunity to at least for us to see about this, because we are now almost dumb and silent.
But you're not. Definitely not. So this is putting out a message to the ministry. You must speak to this, or more importantly, ensure that the right things are done. We'll take a